From the mists of our youth, we were schooled in the chronicles of but a scant few ancient realms that flourished within the vast riverine basins and along the sun-kissed shores. Among these august dominions were the time-honored kingdoms of the Nile, the storied empires that straddled the Tigris and Euphrates, the enigmatic cultures that graced the banks of the Indus, the Yangtze, and the Yellow, as well as the sundry peoples that dwelt upon the Mediterranean's sapphire expanse. These and these alone have captured the collective imagination of humanity. Even unto this day, the common perception persists that the societies that surrounded these fabled lands were but rude, uncivilized things, unworthy of serious consideration. This image of the ancient world was forged nearly a century past and has scarcely been altered in the public consciousness since. Yet in the intervening years, both the annals of history and the findings of archaeology have unveiled a wealth of remarkable discoveries, shedding new light upon the sophisticated tapestry of ancient cultures and challenging the once bleak view of the civilized realm. In the present video, we shall explore 5 such ancient dominions that flourished ere the dawn of the Common Era. But first, we must establish a shared understanding of what, precisely, defines a civilization. For this term has, of late, become a matter of no small debate within the scholarly firmament. There are those who would equate civilization with any distinctive culture, be it of African pygmy or Arctic Eskimo. Yet within the hallowed halls of archaeology, a more traditional conception holds sway. The word civilization is derived from the Latin civitas, meaning city. The presence of vast, fortified settlements, home to populations exceeding 10,000 souls, may be taken as a reliable indicator of an economy robust enough to sustain so large a congregation, including those whose labors lay not in the production of sustenance. Furthermore, the emergence of a professional class, as well as an elite stratum devoted to matters spiritual, administrative, and distributive, are likewise emblematic of true civilization. The renowned British archaeologist Colin Renfrew adds to this the presence of writing and monumental architecture, yet it must be acknowledged that the full suite of these attributes may not be universally present. The art of writing, for instance, was not a universal human invention. Nevertheless, when we encounter ancient communities possessing the hallmarks of urbanism, artisanry, and hierarchical social organization, we have ample reason to deem them civilized, whatever lacunae may be found in their cultural profile. Conversely, there are certain ancient societies, such as the Cycladic culture that preceded the Minoans and Mycenaeans of Greece, which, for all their technical virtuosity and mastery of craft, lack the further indicia of civilization, and thus must be regarded as something distinct. First, we must interject and correct your misguided assumption that the cradle of civilization lies in the East. Oh, how mistaken you are! One remarkable archaeological discovery shattered this conventional wisdom. In the twilight of the 19th century, a profound revelation emerged from the depths of Romania and Ukraine, simultaneously captivating the minds of scholars. A civilization, hitherto unknown, emerged from the shadows, demanding recognition. This enigmatic culture, known as Cucuteni in Romania and Tripillia in Ukraine, unveiled its secrets, challenging the very foundations of historical understanding. This illustrious civilization predates the renowned Uruk culture of Mesopotamia by a staggering half a millennium. Yes, you heard it right. The cradle of civilization, the birthplace of human ingenuity, lies not in the Fertile Crescent, but in the heart of Europe. The founders of this ancient society were intrepid farmers, embarking on a migratory journey from Anatolia, eventually settling in the lower Danube region during the Neolithic period. In the year 1972, a monumental discovery near the Bulgarian city of Varna sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. A sprawling necropolis, dating back to the 5th millennium BC, emerged from the depths of time, revealing the descendants of these intrepid migrants' mastery of metallurgy. Within the confines of this burial ground, artifacts of copper and gold testified to their remarkable skill and craftsmanship. The varying wealth found among the graves hinted at the presence of social inequality, a tantalizing glimpse into the complexities of their ancient society. As the 4th millennium BC dawned, the offspring of these Anatolian migrants ventured northward, drawn by the allure of fertile lands nestled amidst mountains and forested steppes. They embarked on a grand endeavor, constructing extensive fortified settlements, encircled by humble villages. Some of these urban centers sprawled over 350 acres, housing a populace estimated to be between 20,000 and 46,000 residents. Such numbers surpassed the populations of major cities in Egypt and Mesopotamia during that era. The people of Cucuteni-Tripillia were not mere tillers of the soil. They cultivated cereals, peas and fruit trees, tended to their herds of cattle, sheep and goats, and even engaged in hunting and gathering. Their mastery extended beyond the realms of agriculture, as they delved into the arts of copper work, salt mining, and the delicate craft of pottery. Interestingly, these urban centers were plagued by a cycle of devastation and rebirth. Once for approximately 70 years, fires ravaged their walls. Some attribute conflagrations to the ravages of conflict and warfare. However, the whispers of paleobiology suggest a different tale, one of deadly diseases lurking in the shadows. The bubonic plague, a scourge that haunted the region, may have played a role in the intentional burning of cities. A drastic yet efficient strategy to combat and prevent the spread of epidemics, a desperate measure to preserve life in the face of insidious death. Around the 3rd millennium BC, the arrival of the Proto-Indo-Europeans from the nearby steppe regions heralded the beginning of the end. The absence of a centralized government, a lack of cohesive authority, may have left this earliest civilization vulnerable to the encroaching waves of change. In addition to Anatolia in Western Asia, the Iranian plateau served as the epicenter for the dispersion of agricultural communities. It was during the 5th millennium BCE that early farmers, driven by an insatiable thirst for new horizons, embarked upon a momentous journey towards the Helmand River. This mighty river flows through the southern reaches of modern Afghanistan and the eastern expanse of Iran. Local riverbanks were not the idyllic landscapes. They were characterized by treacherous marshes, a challenging terrain indeed. The rapid flow of the river limited the accumulation of fertile silt, resulting in mediocre soil quality. Yet, despite these formidable challenges, the Helmand River held a secret that drew these migrants like moths to a flame. It served as a crucial conduit, a lifeline for the exchange of precious metals, lapis lazuli, and other valuable commodities between different regions. Our knowledge of these forgotten people comes primarily from the tireless efforts of archaeologists like Jean-Marie Cassel, whose spade unearthed the ancient city of Mundigak in the 1950s. Rising from humble beginnings as a farming community in the 4th millennium BCE, Mundigak blossomed into a vibrant center of 52 acres, its kilns humming with the production of exquisite pottery. Trade flourished, with routes snaking outwards to the Iranian plateau, the untamed expanse of northern Afghanistan, and the burgeoning Harappan civilization nestled in the Indus Valley. The social structure of Mundigak's inhabitants is beautifully reflected in the presence of an ornate citadel, perched atop a hill, standing as a symbol of power and authority. This citadel, protected by formidable walls, stood as a testament to the hierarchical nature of their society. Meanwhile, the common folk, the backbone of any civilization, resided in modest dwellings constructed from simple mud bricks. However, the story of the Helmand Valley is not merely one of bustling trade and burgeoning settlements. Across the vast canvas of time, another city emerged, Saou, a sprawling metropolis established in the mid-4th millennium BCE. Unlike Mundigak, where social divisions were starkly evident with the elite ensconced in a citadel, Saou presented a more intriguing picture. Here, the wealthy did not sequester themselves away. Instead, they reveled in spacious multi-roomed houses, a testament to the city's prosperity. Saou pulsated with the lifeblood of skilled artisans. From the delicate touch of potters to the meticulous work of leatherworkers and flint knappers, the city hummed with the industrious clatter of a thriving society. Even more remarkable were the discoveries within the city's necropolis, a skull bearing the marks of ancient surgery, the haunting presence of the oldest known eye prosthesis, and the tantalizing glimpse of a monkey an exotic visitor in these climes. Most captivating of all, perhaps, was the unearthing of the earliest complete board game, its 27 geometric pieces and 4 unique dice whispering tales of leisure and intellectual pursuits. But alas, the sands of time shift, and even the most vibrant civilizations face their twilight. By the close of the 3rd millennium BCE, the curtain fell on the Helmand civilization. Climate change, a relentless tyrant, may have played a cruel hand, unleashing a devastating drought that brought this once flourishing society to its knees. Notably, this period also witnessed the collapse of the mighty Akkadian Empire in Mesopotamia and the Old Kingdom of Egypt, suggesting a more widespread environmental upheaval. The other group of early farmers originating from the Iranian plateau migrated towards the north, where they established what modern scholars identify as the Oxus civilization, or the Bactria-Margiana archaeological complex. The first modern name paints the Oxus River known today by the grander, if less evocative, moniker of Amu Darya as the lifeblood of this society. But delve deeper, and we discover a fascinating truth: the Oxus played a peripheral role. Early inhabitants only hesitantly ventured into its upper reaches, and the middle and lower stretches remained largely untouched by their presence. Bactria and Margiana, names whispered through the corridors of the 1st millennium BCE, are similarly misleading. These historical regions of Central Asia, though undoubtedly possessing their own stories, do not neatly map onto the borders of this nascent civilization. The truth, as with all things historical, is more nuanced. The migrants initially took up residence a narrow sliver of hilly plains nestled against the native plateau. They were drawn by the magnetic allure of tin, a vital ingredient in the burgeoning art of bronze making. Northward expansion was halted by an unforgiving desert, beyond which stretched an endless steppe, the domain of mounted nomads. These pioneering farmers readily intermingled with the local hunter-gatherers, a testament to the adaptability and resourcefulness that defined their existence. Skilled hands mined and smelted the precious ore, while others coaxed wheat, fruit, and grapes from the unforgiving soil. Herds of cows, sheep, donkeys, and the curiously named 2-humped camels grazed on the available pastures. The unforgiving drought of the late 3rd millennium BCE, a relentless tyrant that swept across the ancient world, reshaped their life. Necessity, as ever the mother of invention, compelled farmers to huddle along the life-giving banks of the Murghab River. Riparian forests, once havens for the wild, were ruthlessly transformed into cultivated fields, their verdant embrace replaced by the regimented rows of crops. They founded several cities, typically sprawled across 50 to 70 acres, with the largest, Namazga-Dipi, sprawling over a respectable 173 acres, though alas, time has not been kind to its grandeur. Yet, Gonno-Dipi, another city painstakingly pieced together by the archaeologist Spade, offers us a more intimate glimpse into this bygone era. Gonno-Dipi, at its zenith in the latter part of the 2nd millennium BCE, encompassed a bustling 120 acres, a quarter of which was dedicated solely to the necropolis, a poignant reminder of life's impermanence. The northern quarter was dominated by the ruler's palace, a complex of spacious halls whispering of power, a sophisticated water system whispering of ingenuity, and adjacent temples whispering of the divine. A separate cemetery, a chilling mirror image of the city of the living, lay testament to the elite's separation even in death. South of this citadel of power resided the commoners, their lives, a stark contrast to the opulence above, unfolded within multi-roomed mud-brick homes. Their diet, dominated by starchy plants, offered sustenance, but little in the way of luxury. The stark reality of their lives is further etched in their very bones. Dental ailments, a grim souvenir of their limited diet, plagued a significant portion of the population. Skulls from Gonno-Dipi's necropolis whisper a more disturbing tale. 10% bore the marks of violence, a chilling testament to a society not always at peace with itself. The Oxus civilization did not exist in a vacuum. It was a vibrant tapestry woven with threads from far-flung lands. Mesopotamian cylinder seals, found nestled beside local flat seals and intricate ivory artifacts, hint at a robust trade network. Archaeogenetic analysis, a modern marvel that unlocks the secrets of the very dead, whispers of individuals with Indian ancestry. Even the nomads of the north left their mark. The discovery of a buried horse speaks of a connection that transcended mere geography. But as with all civilizations, the sands of time eventually shifted. By the latter part of the second millennium BCE, the Murghab Valley faced a crisis of resources. Driven by necessity, the population embarked on a new chapter, migrating eastward towards the beckoning embrace of the mountainous regions. Here, they established smaller settlements, carrying forward the technological advancements of their predecessors. However, the curtain fell on the Oxus civilization around the turn of the first millennium BCE. Nomadic Proto-Indo-Europeans, a fierce and relentless force who would later be known as the Aryans, swept down from the north, forever altering the landscape of this once flourishing civilization. When one delves into the annals of ancient African civilizations, the mind inevitably gravitates towards the illustrious land of Egypt, that realm adorned with grand pyramids and steeped in mystique. But the region to the south, Nubia, has often been relegated to the shadows. Even in the times of the Old Kingdom of Egypt, whispers of Nubia echoed through the corridors of history, for it was a land known for its vast reserves of gold, a treasure that captivated the hearts and minds of the ambitious. In the 16th century BC, Ahmose, the founder of the illustrious 18th Pharaonic dynasty, set his sights upon Nubia, conquering its lands and establishing the province of Kush in its place. The Kushites, with their distinctive dark skin, stood as a subject of curiosity and intrigue for the biblical figure Jeremiah, whose musings pondered the very essence of their being. Can the Kushite change his skin, or a leopard his spots? He wondered, encapsulating the enigmatic allure of this ancient civilization. As the tides of time surged forth, the Kushites, those resilient souls, embarked upon a remarkable journey towards independence from Egyptian domination. It was around 1070 BC that their aspirations bore fruit as they successfully cast off the shackles of their Egyptian overlords. Over the course of several centuries, the Kushites, with their indomitable spirit, not only achieved independence but also accomplished the unthinkable. They conquered Egypt itself, ushering in the illustrious 25th dynasty, a dynasty of Kushite descent. Among the luminaries of this remarkable lineage, one figure shines brightly in the annals of history: Pharaoh Taharqa. Sculptors immortalized him with their chisels, capturing his regal countenance and adorning him with distinctly African features. It was during the 19th century that intrepid European explorers embarked on a quest to locate the fabled country of Kush, and fate led them to stumble upon the enigmatic pyramids nestled near the confluence of the White Nile and the Blue Nile. Though these structures may have paled in comparison to their Egyptian counterparts in terms of sheer size, they possessed a captivating allure that could not be ignored. The prevailing belief held that the civilization they unearthed was merely an echo, a reflection of the mighty Egyptian culture. However, the tides of understanding shifted in the 1970s when Swiss archaeologists, armed with their shovels and brushes, commenced their excavations in the ancient city of Kerma, situated in the heart of present-day Sudan. It was within the hallowed grounds of Kerma that a revelation occurred, challenging the very foundations of our preconceived notions. The roots of this ancient city stretch back to the mid-4th millennium BC, gradually evolving into a bustling metropolis by the early 3rd millennium BC. In its heyday, Kerma stood as a formidable rival to the grand Egyptian capitals, boasting a size and splendor that could rival even the most esteemed of its northern neighbors. The archaeologists uncovered spacious chambers, once the abodes of the elite, alongside the humble dwellings of skilled craftsmen. An interesting find was the clay pots, those humble vessels used to store the bounties of agriculture. These pots, adorned with unique protrusions on their necks, served a purpose far beyond mere aesthetics. They were designed to accommodate seals, symbols of an advanced accounting system, a testament to the economic prowess and prosperity of the ancient Africans who once thrived within these lands. Throughout the ancient era, Nubia and southern Egypt engaged in a dance of cultural exchange, a delicate balance between mutual influence and the preservation of their distinct identities. After the Egyptian conquest, the Nubians embraced certain aspects of their adjacent culture. Most notably, they started honoring the gods and goddesses of Egypt. The urban centers of Napata and Meroe emerged as the vibrant hubs of this Egyptian-influenced Kush. But the story did not end there, for the Nubians embraced a new faith in the early first millennium ad Christianity. With unwavering conviction, they upheld their distinct identity, a testament to their indomitable spirit, until the late 14th century, when the forces of Islam swept across the land, overpowering their resistance and forever altering the course of history. The Nile River served as a vital conduit, a lifeline that connected the Mediterranean coast with the verdant realms of tropical Africa, nurturing the growth of early civilizations in Egypt and Nubia. It coursed through the east of the Sahara, that vast expanse of arid desolation that stretches across the earth. Yet, let us not confine our gaze solely to the east, for in the vast territories of West Africa, a different tale unfolded. 7,000 years ago, the Sahara's expansion led to the isolation of West African peoples, disconnecting them from the wider Old World prior to the arrival of camels in the beginning of Anno Domini. These resilient souls settled along the tributaries of the great and unending Lake Chad, or nestled themselves along the banks of the mighty Niger River, whose waters flowed steadfastly towards the embrace of the Gulf of Guinea. It is within these lands that they forged their own destiny, independent of the influences that shaped the broader world. They independently developed pottery, pastoralism, agriculture, and metallurgy. In the year 1931, during a scientific expedition that traversed the vast expanse from Dakar to Djibouti, a French team of explorers stumbled upon a remarkable collection of ancient statuettes nestled in the southern reaches of Lake Chad. The sheer artistry and exquisite craftsmanship of these statuettes left an indelible mark upon the souls of those researchers. The locals, those guardians of ancestral knowledge, whispered tales of the skilled artisans who had once breathed life into these delicate creations. They spoke of the ancient Saou people, those masters of form and expression who had long since faded into the mists of time. Upon their triumphant return, the leader of the expedition, Marcel Griol, took quill to paper and penned a tome of legendary Saou, a work that sought to illuminate the mysteries surrounding this distinct civilization. Yet it was not until the conclusion of the Second World War that the true exploration of this culture began in earnest. Archaeologists, those tireless seekers of truth, delved ever deeper into the recesses of time, unearthing fragments of the past and piecing together the intricate tapestry of the Saou people's history. It was during the middle of the second millennium BC, in a time when pastoral tribes from Lake Chad made their migration to the south. Here, upon the clay plains, the traditions of an archaeological culture began to take shape, weaving together the threads of their existence. In the first millennium BC, agriculture became their primary way of life, a testament to their ability to harness the earth's bounty. Yet, as the tides of time shifted, the Saou people, in a curious twist, reverted back to pastoralism around 500 BC to return to farming a few centuries later. Before these transformations, they had already begun crafting sizable ceramic vessels embellished with intricately carved designs, along with smelting copper, brass, and iron. The big vessels served a profound purpose, for they were commonly used as burial caskets, cradling the remains of the departed, safeguarding their journey into the realm of the ancestors. Copper and brass were less common than iron, and they found their place in the creation of jewelry, shimmering as symbols of status and beauty. The heart of their society beat within the fortified cities that rose from the clay and mud. Take, for instance, the ancient city of M'Daga, nestled not far from N'Djamena, the modern capital of Chad. It was populated continuously from the 5th century BC to the 18th century AD. Elongated mounds, rising from the earth, served as burial grounds and sacred sites for religious rituals dedicated to their deities. Archaeological excavations there have unearthed elaborate figurines, representations of humans, animals, and mythical creatures, each a glimpse into the rich tapestry of their beliefs and aspirations. While written records may be scarce, oral traditions and the whispers of Arabian accounts provide us with a glimpse into the societal structure of the Saou people. Rather than a centralized government, their society was organized into independent city-states, each governed by influential patriarchal clans, their power and influence radiating through the veins of their communities. Yet, as the wheel of time turned, the Saou people found themselves confronted by the rise of more centralized and aggressive states in their neighborhood. By the 16th century, their cities had fallen. And so, the memory of the Saou people, those echoes of a bygone era, then resided mainly in the whispers of tales passed down through the generations. Indeed, the ancient world was a tapestry woven with threads of diversity, a mosaic of civilizations that stretched far beyond the boundaries of our familiar narratives. As we continue to delve into the depths of history, our knowledge expands, revealing to us the wonders and discoveries that lie hidden beneath the sands of time.
If you enjoy our short informative video, put your like and subscribe. Do not miss our upcoming videos. We may be a bit awkward, but we always manage to have a good time and find joy in the little things.